Yeah, thank you. Girl from Ipanema. And we played that in honor of the singer that got the Bossa Nova going. She just passed this week was she in her 80s? Yeah, time goes by. Well, good morning. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing. I'm Reverend Sharon Ketchum, so happy to welcome you here and welcome you that are joining us online. If you're new to us, I hope you got your light bulbs because you do light up our world coming here. We like to share a little light with you. There's also some connection cards. If you're home and watching us for the first time, you can get onto our website. There's a connection card there if you'd like to be added to our email list or have any questions or just let us know, say a little note, say hi. We do have a wonderful prayer team. If you have any prayer concerns or celebrations, our prayer box is over there behind the sofa. Again, online, you're welcome to email it in, or on our website, there's a form. You can send in prayer support. And we will be praying with you for 30 days, and then we turn it to Silent Unity for an additional 30 days of prayer. So lots of support. Our coffee bar is open and snacks. You at home, you have to do your own, can't help you there. And just check out social media for all the other events or also the brochures that are on your table. It is Happy Pride Month. That's why we're in lots of colors here. And I will say that this week we have a booth at Pride down in Old Town. And I have no volunteers to help me there. Stacy's setting up. Danette's going to come down for a couple hours. But if we'd like to show there, and say hello to people and make some connections, I could use some help. There's a sign-up list over there. If you got a couple hours on Saturday between 1 and 7, that would be great. With that, let's affirm our mission statement together. We spiritually awaken to our oneness with God, with each other, and with all creation. And this comes out of our vision, seeing a world powerfully transformed through a shared spiritual awakening. And we say shared because we understand it's not like there's a right and perfect answer, but it's honoring ourselves and each other, whatever path we are on and wherever we are on that path. So let us affirm together. The enlightenment of the Buddha shines within us. The compassion of the Christ moves through us. The power of Jehovah strengthens and guards us. The presence of Allah surrounds and guides us. Wherever we are, the Tao is, and all is God. With that, I invite you to join with us as we sing our thoughts, our prayers to set the consciousness for this morning. By the way, you may notice that Greg Denning looks different this morning. We have Winalee with us. And actually, this is like a live version of our COVID tape shows when we used to do the two of us together do Sunday services. We like to pray for our neighbors, everybody on this planet. Most of my heart was these 4 Colombian children that were found this week. There was a plane crash, and the adults on the plane died, and the children were missing. They've been gone for 6 weeks in the Colombian jungles, and they found them this morning, ages 1 to 13. Wow, 1, 3, 5, and 13. The 13-year-old took care of them. They were certainly, but it's nice to do some prayers of celebration. Whoa, it just gives me chills to think about it, whatever's going on there. Certainly holding the people in Ukraine in our prayers this morning, especially those that have been impacted by the dam that was burst this week. I know they're going through such a process, and we can just keep sending them our love and our support. And then the big triumvirate here for us locally, the Michigan rain, which we're bringing closer and closer. A little drum circle this morning, maybe with the the rain drum and stuff may have helped on that. The Canadian wildfires, they are out of control, our neighbors up north, and certainly our air quality is affecting all of us. If you ever doubted how small this planet is and how much we are one and how somebody doing something here impacts something over here, I mean, we're living it. This is it. So with that, let's just take a moment in prayer to open our hearts and just to let that love, strength, and wisdom flow out and embrace our neighbors, celebrating those things that have been found, those seeming miracles that pop up, that evidence of the activity of divine spirit in ways that are beyond our understanding. We embrace them with our wisdom and strength and comfort those that are in struggles right now, those that are perhaps feeling fearful and alone. We know the presence of God is with them, deep within them in this moment. And we embrace our planet, that all the equilibrium changes with weather and fires and rain, finds a way into that greater divine order of balance with our cooperation. For the presence, the wisdom, the guidance, the activity of God in each and every event and each and every person. We say thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is. Amen. And then we do a prayer for Unity Spiritual Center, which is all of us. So let's affirm together. We celebrate our spiritual connections, standing together in faith, releasing fear, standing in love, releasing bitterness, standing in possibilities, releasing limitations, standing in oneness, releasing otherness. We stand in pride of our diversity as a perfect expression of the infinite nature of spirit. And so it is. Amen. So a little chance to chat with your neighbors at the table, a fun one this morning. Think about a great gift you've received and a great gift you've given. You know how sometimes you just ring the bell with it, like just that perfect gift for that moment, no matter what it is. So if you want to take a moment to chat about that, we'll come back with the music playing. Winalee and I will chat for the people at home. Great gifts. I know what came to mind. One year for Christmas, for my son, I wrapped his presents like a choo-choo train. They were little boxcars, and I made a choo-choo. And the gift was in the gifting. Didn't matter what was in the boxes. It was just so adorable. It was.
I think the gift for me is being surprised by people in my life. That just showing up.
Oh, isn't that a wonderful gift?
Relationships are like
A phone call, a knock at the door. Yeah.
and when it's a surprise, unexpected.
Yeah, I'm thinking one that surprised me, it still blows me away, is when Nancy gave me her car and her will. 6 months before, knowing she was dying, she had the tires changed. That meant more than the car. I know. Isn't that a gift? I know. Well, let's welcome everybody here. Okay. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time.
I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. You can dance. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where, you might want to stand up and dance to this. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Here. It's welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Woo! That was fun. Good morning. My name is Winalee Zeeb, and I'm grateful to serve as your platform assistant today. Today's Unity's daily word is grace. Inspired by Paul's letter to the Corinthians, yes, everything is for your sake, so that grace, as it extends to more and more people, may increase thanksgiving to the glory of Spirit. The guiding, healing, harmonizing presence of the power of God is everywhere present. Divine grace is ours whenever we say yes to this presence within us. We release any thought that we are unworthy of grace. Nothing we could do or fail to do would ever disturb our divine identity. Grace need not be earned, nor can it be bought. It is inexhaustible. No matter how much comes our way, we can relax in complete trust that even more will be available when we need it. Grace doesn't happen to us, it expresses through us. Just as we have been blessed to receive grace, when we have needed it, we are honored to be the conduit through which it flows to someone else, blessing them in a time of need. Let us affirm together. With joy and gratitude, I welcome grace. Oh my goodness, this and oh. Do over. Oh, we're playing with remotes together. Unity's core value this month is joy. As spiritual beings in this human experience, we affirm that joyfulness is our true nature. Yes. We choose to approach life optimistically. We take time to laugh, play, I added, and dance. Our internal joy of living creates loving connections with others in our community. We share smiles freely, move our feet to the music, and clap with enthusiasm as we live in the abundant, playful flow of spirit. Let us affirm together. With playful expression, we celebrate life, love, and abundance. At this time, this is fun. I get to introduce myself. just a spoke in the wheel, one grain of sand, but it feels so right to be right where I am. One little part of a much bigger plan, and the longer I'm here, the more I understand. I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one, we are one. I'm just one drop of rain that falls from the sky, that runs to a stream and the ocean by and by. I could do worse than to give myself up on a crest of a wave in this ocean of love. I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one, we are one. One gentle touch, one loving word, one single step toward a kinder world. I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one, we are one. One gentle touch, one loving word, one single step toward a kinder world. Oh, I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one, we are one. I am one, we are one.
We are one. That's it. You may notice these little kukui beads I have on. They're prayer beads from Hawaii that I was given 24 years ago yesterday at my ordination. So, yeah. God, 24 years goes by in a blink of an eye, but you're still one. Oh, yeah, anyway, not so many of us left. Anyway, tomorrow is National Loving Day. And what that is a celebration when the Supreme Court ruled that it was unconstitutional to say that you couldn't have interracial marriages. You know, as I stand here in 2023, I can't even believe that we have a law against that. I mean, how do you even determine that? But it's something to remind us all the time. Our freedoms are not something that just come naturally. They're something we have to stand for. It's just really so important. So I hope you all feel especially loving this weekend, and yeah, just embrace it. Make those points of contact. The other thing is, on your table, there is a little newsletter about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Next week is Juneteenth, and our inclusion team has been working on what do we do as a community to help progress getting away from white supremacy and complicit, these micro aggressions that we do, complicit bias that we don't even realize that we have. It's an educational thing, it's a process. So we put this out this week so that you could read about it, and it's just an overview. It doesn't go in really deep into all the historical stuff, why this is happening. But we had the Justice League come in and talk to us as part of our Courageous Conversations. And they're working on a faith-based reparations program for Black people in Lansing. And they really made such a understandable entry for us into. We just felt we wanted to do something. So one of the things we're doing is a resolution of what we can do at Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing, and that is in this document, as well as some of the historical things behind this, redlining in the city, putting 496, through Black communities and breaking up their neighborhoods. And so it's just the tip of the iceberg for the case for it, but I wanted to give you an overview to think about it, because next week on Juneteenth, we'll have the resolution printed out on a nice large piece of paper, and if you're so moved, you can sign it. Make that commitment, because unity is not just about prayer, it's about taking action steps, and this is one thing we can do on that. So I hope you'll take that with you. Think about it. If you have any questions, I'm available. Teresa's on the inclusion team. Kathy Asap's on the inclusion team. If you're on the inclusion team, I want to raise your hand if anybody wants to talk to you. Stacy. Because it's a process. It is such a process. It's not something that it's done at any point. You don't graduate from it. You're just always in process, always learning, always growing. And the more you know, the more you'll know that you don't know, and the more you don't know yourself, even what's in there. So I hope you'll take that with you today. Oh, yeah, on our website too, and we send on e-news, trying to make it as easy as possible there. Our spiritual practice for this week was about making points of light, points of contact with other people, like being conscious of there's only one, right? Every time we make a really heartfelt contact with somebody else, think about it. It's like affirming our oneness. It's affirming that there is not an otherness. Even though we have skin that physically separates our energy that we can see, there's that other energy that goes on, the love that is us, the vibration that is us. And I was thinking about points of contact, but then there was also the point of contact that I missed. It was one morning, I'm on the treadmill, my wife comes downstairs and said, "Why didn't you wake me up to come downstairs on the treadmill with you?" And I go, "This is the first thing I hear from you in the morning? The first thing you say to me is, why didn't I wake you up and come tell you to come down on the treadmill?" And I just went off on I missed that point of light contact, I really did. But I'll tell you, my talk from last week, do you remember what I said you could do when that happens? Somebody really, you've totally missed. Thank you for being instrumental in revealing I am out of the flow. Now, I did not say that to her. I am wise enough. But as I'm just building up a really good steam about this, what a way to start the day! I went upstairs and I thought, wait a minute. Thank you for showing me I'm out of the flow. And and it just brought me right back down. It just really helped center me. Thanks. So boy, that's a really good technique, that when somebody cuts you off, whatever that might be, cuts off your good feels, the vibes for the day, breaks up your workout that you got up and got on the treadmill to do, just to remember that, so when you have that little disturbance, it's that we're out of that flow of God's presence and God's love. Because as we're looking right now at this book, in the flow is about that unimpeachable wholeness of the universe, and that we are part of that whole, and that we are part of that whole regardless of the outer circumstances, regardless of our health, regardless of our relationships, regardless of our financial situation or bills that we have to pay, regardless of our car, regardless of the closet that has filled with clothes that don't fit us anymore. That was from last week. We had a good laugh about those of us that keep closets filled with clothes for the future. Today we're going to talk about this artesian well, this wellspring of giving. And we have a lot of stories in our head around giving. And I think especially around Christmas time, Christmas cards are a real issue for me. I was always told if you got one, you had to send one. But ecologically, I don't like to send cards because then there's more paper and they get thrown away. So I always had this, feeling I'm not doing my part socially. And if somebody gives you a gift, if you have this feeling of reciprocity, you need to give back, or somebody invites you for lunch or dinner, and then immediately you owe them. Anybody have those stories? Am I the only one? That there's this owing. As soon as I receive something, I owe. It's just immediate. I don't ever remember my parents sitting me down and saying, this is it. I don't remember the minister at church saying, this is it. But there's something within me that immediately feels that, or if I give them something, they at least owe me a thank you. Right? Isn't that funny that in giving we create this thing of owing? Yeah. They owe me the courtesy of, fill in the blank, whatever that might be. But today we're going to talk about is that true way of giving is learning to give way to the flow. Give way to that divine flow that is spirit, that is God, that is in this oneness, that we're all oneness. Now, I want to share a story with you about Geraldine Gimblett. She's out down in Lakeland, Florida, and her daughter had breast cancer. And she took all of her life savings to pay for her daughter's breast cancer treatment. And the breast cancer of her daughter was healed. Wonderful, wonderful story. It gets better. 2 days after she got the all clear that she was healed, Geraldine won $2 million in the lottery. Doesn't that just warm your heart? That's that giving way to the flow. She had no thought of holding back anything her daughter needed. She just gave it all to her. She loved her. She supported her. There was no thought. She just put herself right into the flow, and it just flowed right back in. Chopra, in his book, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, says, the universe operates through dynamic exchange. Giving and receiving are different aspects of the flow of energy of the universe. In our willingness to give that which we seek, we keep abundance circulating in our lives. So there's this kind of continuity happening. There is, Butterworth in his book talks about the definition of God being a circle whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. That's that dynamic flow. That's the dynamic flow. Jesus, when he was giving his Sermon on the Mount, sharing these wonderful words of wisdom, he said, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And I remember hearing this and thinking, ooh, that's not quite right. I thought he was going to say, blessed are the meek, and they'll inherit heaven. They get a place in heaven. And I remember struggling over this one quite a bit. It just wasn't quite clicking with me. Blessed are the meek, so they inherit the earth. Because we know on earth, it seems like the strong and the bullies seem to take over the earth. But if you go back to some of the original wording of this, the word meek in Greek is peris, and it means tame, as opposed to wild and unrestrained. So blessed are those that are tame. Okay, almost getting it. They'll inherit the earth. Think about a person who is in self-control, who has harnessed that power within them. And I love this term, that they are centered in their own spiritual gravity. In Wicked, there's that song, Gravity, that I think the Bad Witch sings. But spiritual gravity, okay, earthly gravity holds us down. Think of spiritual gravity. It holds us up. Like, it doesn't pull us up. Think about spiritual gravity. It keeps us from being in the appearances. It keeps us from being in that struggle. It keeps us from needing to be reminded when we are out of the flow because we have lost it, if you will. Consciously being in the flow, consciously being in relationship with God at all times. Our center of spiritual gravity. I'm about ready to get a T-shirt, to remind me, because I look in the mirror and say that. So maybe, remember, Jesus didn't write any of this down. These are what people heard. But I'm thinking that for me, his lesson is, blessed are the meek when they give way to the flow of the eternal givingness of God. Blessed are those centered in their spiritual gravity that give way to the eternal givingness of God. It's kind of like, when you sign a consent form to allow things to happen. And a disclaimer on this is not a church commercial for giving to the church, as we're talking about giving today. A lot of people, antennas go up when you start talking about giving. This is about being in the flow, so just know this is not a church commercial. True giving is not something you do for somebody. It's your consent to allow God to move through you and flow out there to someone or something else. Think about, but a different way of thinking about giving, that giving way, giving your consent to be an instrument of God's peace, giving your consent to be an instrument of God's guidance, giving your consent to be an instrument of God's love, whatever that might be for you. Giving your consent, because we have free will. There's no puppet master up there pulling strings. There is just a flow of this great potential that is waiting to express through us in this world. So it's not giving to that's important. It's about giving from, always from the inner. So here's a way to think about this, to kind of ponder this. You take a cup or a glass over to the faucet. You turn on the faucet. Is the faucet giving to the cup, or is it simply cooperating in the process? Is the water coming from the faucet, or is the faucet just there as an instrument for the water? And then you go to the cup. Is the cup receiving water, or is it being an instrument to be receptive so the faucet can give more? Now, there's no answers needed here. It's about the question, about thinking about the question. Where is the source really in anything? Is the source in the faucet itself, or is that just an instrument that allows the flow to go through? The receptacle, is that just receiving, or is that allowing the flow to keep going? All right? It's like a little English koan to think about. The prophet Gilgabran, in the prophet, Gilgabran has this beautiful take on giving. He says, you give but little when you give of your possessions. It's when you give of yourself that you truly give. He says, give without pain or joy or mindfulness. Give as the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space. That I could visualize, to be able to give just like the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space. Can you feel how that's just part of the flow? There's no effort on the part of the myrtle. There's no effort on the part of the roses or the lilacs. It's just they are in the flow being what they're being. You have this wonderful opportunity to be part of it all. So there's lots of different ways of giving. Outer-centered giving, when we give from the outside, it always depletes the giver. If you give money, you go, oh, I have that much less in my bank account or in my wallet. If you give of your possessions, you have that many less clothes in your closet or that many less pieces of furniture in your garage, whatever that might be. There's a depletion involved. When we give from the inner, there's such a gift of love that it adds to whatever is given. There's a vibration to it. There's an energy to it. This vibration of love that makes what it is so much bigger. And if you don't get it, think about the drawing a little kid gives you, that they have put their heart and soul into. And when they hand that to you, the macaroni pitcher, it is just the most valuable thing in the world because of that love vibration that's with it, right? Because that love vibration that is with it. So we all know this. We forget about it because those gift stories are so big. When we give out of duty, out of need, out of sympathy, we're giving to to support more of that same thing, the need. And this is a really interesting thing when you're dealing with charities, and something I practice, I've been practicing now for about 20 years. I don't give to the food bank because people need food. I give to the food bank because I have food I can give. You see the difference? I give to the Davies Project over in town. They drive people that need driving for kids to get to doctors. I give because I love the work they do. Not because they need my money. I give because I love what they do. Same way with the Fledge. I support the Fledge. Not because they need money, but because I want to be part of the energy of what they're putting out into the community. There's a real difference here in how we give, why we give. When you give to need, you create more need. When you give out of abundance, you create more abundance. Same act, different energy. Inner-centered, we're giving because the universe is the all-sufficiency of the universe. It's such a great term to memorize, the all-sufficiency of the universe, right up there with our own spiritual gravity. So, innie and outie. This is not belly buttons we're talking about, but I got thinking about innie and outies of giving. So, when we give from the outer for outer reasons, because it's expected as a duty, we expect an acknowledgement. This is when we're getting to that owing right away. Oh, they could at least have said thank you. Why don't kids send thank you cards anymore? You know, what's wrong with them? Why didn't anybody say anything about it? When we give from inside, it's impersonal. We don't care even where it goes or anything. There's just a joy of giving. That's all that it's about. Absolutely all that it's about. Sometimes when we're giving from the outer, we want to give and support something, but we say, I can't do it right now. I'm in lack, but as soon as I get that new job, as soon as I get that raise, as soon as I get the time, as soon as I get, somewhere in the future, because we're dealing with the outer. But when you're giving from an inner, what happens is you're just right in the now. There is no limitation on you. And whatever you do has this great blessing because it's love, it's praise, it's gratitude that's coming out. It's things that make your flowers grow, literally. I mean, we've all done this, right? With our plants, talk to them and praise them and love them, and they've flourished, right? Some of us have. I see some head shaking there. In Acts, in the Gospels, there's a story of Peter and John going into the temple in Jerusalem. And by the temple gates is a beggar who can't walk. And as he comes in, of course, he asks them for money. That's what he's doing. He's a beggar. He's got his beggar's bowl out there. And Peter says to him, I don't have any gold, I don't have any silver, but I do have what Jesus gave me, and that I will share with you. And he reaches out and heals him. Interesting story. Much more interesting for us when we start taking that metaphysically. Remember, metaphysically, all these characters are aspects of us. Peter represents our faith. John represents love. And the beggar represents that part of us that doesn't think we're enough. When we're in a charity mindset, we're asking to support the charity aspect. Like giving to the beggar as a beggar confirms that that's what the person is a beggar. So sometimes we too go out into the world with our begging bowls. We go to our job, to a school, to friends, whatever, thinking that what we need is out there in the world, right? And we get reinforcement for that sometimes, keeping us in that state of mind that what's going to fix us is out there, that our bowl is empty. We need something out there to fill it. Right? But it's the inner needs, what the beggar needs, the beggar in us needs is to get back in the flow. Thank you for reminding me. I was out of the flow. It always starts at the inside to the out. The outside is fun, is pretty, but it's passing. What's inside is eternal. It's a faith and love within us, our ability to have a faith, our ability to have a love. This is what gives us the boost to get us to put down the beggar's bowl and understand that we have all the resources that we need. And if we don't seem to have them physically in appearance yet, it's right there at our fingertips as soon as we get back into the flow to allow it to happen. In Unity, we talk a lot about positive and negative thinking. And I throw you another question this morning. Is there such a thing as positive and negative thinking? The power works the same way. We're the ones that call it positive or negative. It's not like there's a category and you're on this side of it. It's not black and white. It's part of this flow. If you want to be a beggar, the universe will support you in being a beggar. If you want to be successful, the universe will support you in being successful if you understand and measure it from the inside. And if we get into this thing of positive thinking that we can make it happen, if I think, like I'm manipulating the universe, we get so trapped into making it happen, we forget to let it happen, to let ourselves be in the flow. This is not about manipulation, it's not about magic, it's about being the one, being in the oneness. So, a little man, probably wasn't little, sitting on a bench one day, and he had just been laid off his job. And he was at that age that he was too old to get hired to a new job, but too young to retire. I remember when my father was laid off from the shoe factory because they were mechanizing it, and he was in his 50s, which at my age, as a kid, I thought that was very, very old. And and it does something to you about your values, that outer thing about who you are and what you can give to the world. And he's sitting on this park bench thinking, like, who am I without a job? What am I going to do? Where is this going? And as he's sitting on this bench, he kept hearing this noise at another bench. And he looked over and says, this young woman crying. God, I wish she'd stop. I got things to think about here. Finally, he takes a breath, he goes over, sits down next to her and says, what's the matter? And she's saying, I've come to the city, I thought I'd be able to get a job, I haven't been able to get a job, I'm running out of money, I don't know what I'm going to do. And very finally he put his arm on her shoulders and said, it's going to be okay. And as he started talking with her, he realized he had some contacts he could give her that could help her get work, do this and that. And as he talked to her, like she was finally seen. She knew that she was seen. This is like that wonderful light point of contact. And just thank you so much. And she went off renewed. She was lifted up. She had that hope again. And then as we returned to his bench, he's realizing he's feeling different. See, he got in the flow, what he needed, that advice, that lifted him up too. And in the next couple of days, he gets a phone call, a couple people, there was a new job for him, somebody paid him a debt that he thought he had written off long ago, somebody borrowed money, and all of a sudden that came in. Like, he was able, instead of being the beggar of life, he was able to just put himself back in the flow by helping somebody else, by doing that little thing to help somebody else. So the giving principle really works like this. All of us have this heart desire for success, whatever that is for us, to be successful in relationships, to be successful creatively, whatever that might be. But the key is, are we asking what's in it for me, or are we asking what's in it for the world? How will this success make a difference in the world? You can feel the difference in energy. What's in it for me all of a sudden is energy like this. What's in it for the world is like this. Right? You make that shift. When we ask what's in it for the world, this is when we really know that we're going to give way to the flow. We're giving way, stopping the resistance. There's a saying that nature abhors a vacuum because life is a creative force. When you're creative, it's always wanting to create, so it abhors a vacuum. Yeah, and I love this little graphic there. There's a tree looking at the vacuum cleaner saying, jerk. Okay. But it's true, like the universe cannot stand to be vacant, to be empty. And when we create a vacuum in our life, that flow rushes in. And now, here's another thing to think about this morning. When you exercise to get stronger, does exercise build up your muscles? Technically not. Exercise tears down your muscles. That's why you hurt the next day. But because the muscles are torn down, what happens? The universe has to come in and build more muscle, newer muscle, stronger muscle. See, creating the vacuum rushes in. That's giving way to that flow. So if we need help, we help somebody else. It's creating whatever it is that we need by giving way to the flow to be part of that flow for somebody else. Harry Emerson Fosdick. I always thought Fosdick was just a detective in the cartoons. But he was an incredible minister in the United States. He was very interfaith. And he said, when somebody earnestly wishes to be useful, he's in a country where he can dig anywhere and strike water. Isn't that a great visual? When you really want to be useful, you're in a country, you can dig anywhere, strike water, strike oil, whatever that might be. It reminds me of a saying I have in my house. I have this painted on a little closet door. It says, one day I decided to help wherever I could, and it was almost like magic because I was exactly what the world needed everywhere I went. Everyone is an inlet to be an outlet to all there is in God, including you. With that, we're going to go into a time of meditation. And we're going to start a little differently this morning. We're going to start with... How many of you know who Ram Dass is? Yeah. He has this little, so just allow him to speak to you. Starts out with a little music and
Maharaji, in my second visit to India, took me aside and said to me, Ram Dass, love everybody. And I said, I can't. My mind is full of judgments. He said, Ram Dass, love everybody and tell the truth. And those instructions have been my guide to my sadhana. My sadhana has led to my soul. And souls love each other and tell the truth.
oh, okay, as we breathe that in, wonderful, simple wisdom of love everyone and tell the truth. I'm going to give you a mudra today. We talked about that one other time. Mudras are positions, a yoga position that works with the energy of our body. And your fingers, I've written the notes because I keep forgetting what they are. Your thumb is fire. Your first finger is air. Your middle finger is space and the sun. Your ring finger is earth, and water is your little finger. So we're going to take space or the sun and fire and hold them together during meditation, putting your thumb on this knuckle. That's comfortable for you. And then just, you can rest them on the table or in your lap as we just take some time to go within. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Just taking a deep breath and that connection of the sky, the infinite space, and fire, that activity, that cleansing activity that takes away any barriers from what is ours to do, to be in the flow. That fire that can transform the blocks that we have created. That fire that can release that blocked energy so that it might transform into the empowerment of that divine potential within you. That space of infinite possibility. That space where you do love everyone. That space that is freed, burned free of judgments, so that you get yet a greater glimpse of what the truth of oneness is. That in this love, you do tell the truth, starting with yourself and your relationship with God. There is only one power, one presence. There is only whole, holiness in the very highest sense. As we burn off the dross of outer judgments of ourselves, as we burn off those blockages. Who cares where those ideas came from? All that we need to focus on in this moment is the flow, that flow of love, that flow of peace, that flow of being connected. Light beams among other light beams. Breath intermingling with breath. Notes of celestial music playing in harmony with all that is. In this moment of utter and total surrender, we borrow some of the words from St. Francis Assisi. That surrender mode that says, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in giving way to that infinite, unimpeachable power, source of this universe, of God, that we receive. So let us take just a moment of silence and sit in that freedom from obstruction, sitting in love, sitting in truth together. And so it is. Allah, Shalom. Amen. Namaste.
surrender to my greatest, highest good. I have released any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment of the day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and true and free, as I continue walking in this mystery. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks on my way, but I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that kept me down.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, okay. Spiritual practice for the week. It's homework. It's real homework this time. You got reading to do. I do hope you'll take one of those pamphlets with you or go to our website, one of the roto banners you can click on. It will take you there. And just see what that does for you, for your own personal awakening, your own understanding. You know what I find amazing? Every time we take down a wall about any issue, be it racial, be it LGBTQ issues, be it ageism, feminism, any of that, all boats rise. When the water goes up, all boats rise. So as we work on any neurology, neurodiversity is one of the things we've been working on a lot. As we work on each of these things, our understanding engrows to all of it because it's all about oneness. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Winalee to put another challenge out there.
One little boy in Africa, he put a face on AIDS, told his story to the world till he died. And these are the words he said. He said, do all you can with what you have, in the time you have and the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have and the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can. Holy Mother from India, helping the sick and the poor. Somebody asked, why do you do these things? She said, this is what I came here for. She said, do all you can with what you have, in the time you have and the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have and the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can. Oh. Share wherever we go. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Now I understand what they wanted us to know. They said, do all you can with what you have, in the time you have and the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have and the place you are. Do all you can. Do all you can. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. One little boy in Africa, do all you can. Holy Mother from India, do all you can. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Do all you can. Do all you can. Do all you can. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Please sing with us. Do all you can. 4 times. Do all you can. 3 more. Do all you can. Could be dance a little bit. Do all you can. Winalee. Do all you can. Yeah. Woohoo. Thank you, Unity Band. Fabulous.
Oh, I want to go out and do something. Yeah. This is the time that we celebrate our circle of generosity. I mean, now we all know how to give way and to be in that flow. First, I want to thank everybody that continues to support this ministry. Things have changed so much in COVID. You know, people do things electronically now. It's just a whole different world, and things come in the mail, and people donate to service still. And we're just so appreciative of this as a community. And part of our appreciation is that we share with part of our tithes with some local organizations. And 2 of them that you've chosen for this quarter is the House of Promise that helps women that have been trafficked to get restarted in their life, and the Greater Lansing Food Bank. And we give to them because we are in the flow, right? Not because there's need, but because we are part of that blessing to them, blessing just the love that they show on that. So we're going to take a moment to bless all that we have received as we sing together, God is my source.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
Whoop, sorry. I'm doing. I'm sorry.
No worries, love. It's
We're
all
just
good.
so anxious to do something, doing all I can.
Yes,
Not to-
that's what happens with
Oh.
two of these, right?
The circle of generosity is the sacred exchange of giving and receiving. We have each received blessings in many forms. Now complete the circle by sharing of our blessings. The gift we give is not a debt we owe, it is a seed we sow. We know and accept that our consistent generosity creates a consciousness of abundance that attracts good to us now. If you're donating in person, you can place your love offering in the envelope in the glass jar in the center of the table for collection following the service. Let's raise our hands or place them over our hearts to symbolically send loving energy to bless our sacred exchange as we affirm together.
Given love through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I praise, give thanks, and am glad.
And today, following the service,
I'll do it.
okay, great.
We'll work together.
Everyone is invited to participate in the community art project.
And CJ and Deshawn are over there. They will lead them out. You have vinyl gloves. We're going to paint the wall there. We need lots of angel feathers that are your hands made out of paint. And we want to finish this up to this great community art project. Sorry.
No
Well-
worries. Chime in. And this is Reverend Sharon. At noon, Reverend Sharon is offering the course Unity 101 in the Lodge classroom.
Yep, upstairs.
She will give
Yep.
a brief overview of Unity Movement as well as Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing.
Yeah. After people do their handprints, so.
After people do their handprints.
Yeah. Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic. For information on all other events happening at Unity, check the pamphlets on the tables, the posters on the information rack, or our website at unitylansing.com. To close our service, you are invited to stand as you are able or join in our peace circle around the room. We will sing the peace song followed by the prayer of protection. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God is within us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Woohoo! Bless you.